Good evening. Continuing the chapter of nutrition in plants, we have learned about photosynthesis. Now, today we will continue the topic, and one question you must have in your mind, that the leaves having other color than green can also do their food, can also make their food. How they will perform photosynthesis? Do they perform photosynthesis? That question must be arised in your mind. So today we will discuss that topic only. So the leaves other than the green color also have chlorophyll. The leaves other than green color also have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, I have mentioned that chlorophyll is a green pigment which is the main cause of green color of leaves. So the leaves other than green also have chlorophyll which capture the sunlight, which capture the energy of sunlight. So the leaves other than green color also have chlorophyll, otherwise they can't perform photosynthesis because they have to capture the energy of sun. The large amount of red, brown and other pigments mask the green color. So the large amount of red, brown and other pigments mask the green color. That means they are also having green in that, but they shown the color of red, brown, but that doesn't mean they don't have the green color. They are also having that chlorophyll, that pigment. So photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. Photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. We often see slimy green patches in ponds. You often see some slimy green patches in pond or in meshy water or in meshy places or in stagnant water bodies. What are they? That green patches are what? That green patches are nothing but phytoplankton that is known as algae. This is nothing but algae. So these are generally formed by the growth of algae. These green patches are generally formed by algae. They contain chlorophyll. This algae also contain chlorophyll which gives them green color. This algae, what is algae? Algae is the main source of that green color which you can see in slimy water or in meshy water or in stagnant water. This green color is actually algae. Algae is also having chlorophyll that gives it green color. So firstly we have said that one question must be there in your mind, that other than green color, the other colored leaves can perform photosynthesis or not. They can also perform photosynthesis because the large amount of red, brown and other pigment mask the green color. So photosynthesis can take place in those leaves also. And we have learned about algae. Algae is what? In meshy water or in slimy land or in stagnant water you can see some green patches. These green patches are nothing but algae, because algae is also having chlorophyll and they can perform photosynthesis and they can make their own food, because photosynthesis is done when they can make their own food. Only then only they can perform photosynthesis, when they can prepare their own food. They are interrelated. If they can do photosynthesis, they can also make their food. It is interrelated. So algae can also make their own food. Now coming to our next topic, plants synthesis carbohydrates through photosynthesis. We know that in my last class I have said that plants actually synthesis carbohydrates through photosynthesis. I have given you the equation of photosynthesis, that water plus carbon dioxide, and sunlight and chlorophyll must be there, and then they releases oxygen and make carbohydrate. So in photosynthesis, excuse me, in photosynthesis, plants actually synthesize carbohydrates through photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. These are used to synthesize other components of food such as proteins and fats. Now carbohydrates is made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these are used to synthesize other components of food such as proteins and fats. Proteins are nitrogenous substance. You all know that protein is actually nitrogenous substance. To make protein you need nitrogen. Plant need nitrogen to make protein. But again one question is there that plant can't take nitrogen from the atmosphere directly. Nitrogen is present in gaseous form in air. Nitrogen is there in the atmosphere in air. But plant can't take that directly from the air. So how could plants take that nitrogen? Because nitrogen is necessary to make protein. As I have said that they are making carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these are used to synthesize other components of food such as proteins and fat. But in protein, plant need what? Need nitrogen. But again the question is that it can't take nitrogen directly from the air. So how could they take nitrogen? Then we have come one point that plant can't absorb nitrogen in this form, this gaseous form. Soil has certain bacteria. In soil there are certain bacteria that convert gaseous nitrogen into an usable form and release it into the soil. So plant is not capable to take the nitrogen in the gaseous form. So how could they take nitrogen? They actually take through soil. Soil has some bacteria which actually convert the gaseous nitrogen into that usable form so that the plant can use it and release it into the soil. Now these are absorbed by the plants along with water. Whence the bacteria present in the soil convert the nitrogen into that form so that it can be released in the soil and it can be taken by the plant. Then the plant has taken that nitrogen through along with water. Now you must have seen farmers adding fertilizers rich in nitrogen to the soil. Why farmers are using fertilizer which is rich in nitrogen but no other components? Because plants can't take nitrogen directly, so it need nitrogen compound through from other sources. So the farmer is using that fertilizers which are having nitrogen so that the soil can have nitrogen and the plant can take that nitrogen from the soil. But in other cases soil is having some bacteria also. They can convert that gaseous nitrogen into in that form so that it can be taken by the plant directly from the soil. But to supply the nitrogen, we often see that the farmers are using fertilizers which is rich in nitrogen. This way plants can fulfill their requirements of nitrogen along with other constituents. So in that way plants can fulfill their need of nitrogen and in other constituents. So today we have learned, let's revise the thing, the leaves other than green color also have chlorophyll. In fact, red and brown leaves can also perform photosynthesis, and we often see slimy water, stagnant water, green meshy water. What is that green patches? This is nothing but algae which can perform photosynthesis because chlorophyll is also present in that algae. So algae can also prepare their food. Now the question is synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. Plant food is not only carbohydrate but the other components are there. So how could they synthesized? So through photosynthesis only carbohydrate can be synthesized, but carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are used to synthesize other components of food such as proteins and fats. But in proteins, nitrogen is very much necessary. To make protein, nitrogen is very much necessary. How could plant take nitrogen directly? They can't be able to take that nitrogen directly. So in that case, either farmers are spraying fertilizers which is rich in nitrogen, or there are some bacteria in soil which convert that gaseous nitrogen into that usable form so that plant can use that. So in that way plant can fulfill their requirement of nitrogen along with other constituents. So this is all about today's topic. In our next class, we will continue about the other mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophic nutrition. Today we have completed the autotrophic mode of nutrition, about photosynthesis, about plants and about everything. Now in our next class, we will continue about heterotrophic nutrition. Thank you.